Government will govern for the people, with the people. The ultimate aim is to shape a second socio-economic miracle in the interests of one and all. The philosophy of développement à visage humain, énonce égale pour tous, shall eminently prevail in all our endeavors. A key consideration of government during its mandate will be to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, promote social justice, economic empowerment, and national unity. Inspired by the first economic miracle that took our country out of the doldrums in the 80s, government will steer the economy to a much higher plane of development. New policies will be implemented to boost GDP growth and create jobs. Government will develop new pillars for economic growth, such as the launching of a regional bunkering hub, the development of the ocean economy, the implementation of the duty-free shopping paradise initiative, and the ICT-enabled services sectors. Government will also consolidate traditional sectors, sugar cane industry, tourism and manufacturing, and existing service sectors, namely the financial services industry, and promote the expansion of business in Africa. Innovation will be a key driver of growth. Government will also take strong actions to revitalize private investment in existing pillars of the economy with an emphasis on greater business facilitation and improvement of the investment climate. The most critical success factor to the shaping of the second miracle will be the emergence of the new breed of young entrepreneurs and rise of the SME sector as the main engine of growth. To democratize the economy, government will ensure that SMEs become the backbone of the economy in the years to come. A new SME bank will be set up and some 10 billion rupees earmarked by government to support the development of this sector over the next 5 years. To achieve a higher growth rate will also require macroeconomic stability. To this end, there will be better coordination of monetary and fiscal policies. Urgent emphasis will be placed on resolving the problem of excess liquidity in our banking system. As regards public finance and fiscal policy, government will not tolerate wasteful, unnecessary, and excessive expenditure. The Finance and Audit Act will be reviewed to strengthen public financial management, accountability, transparency, and fiscal discipline. Government will implement an equitable tax policy based on the philosophy of fiscalité légère. Government will be merciless in combating the growing illicit gambling activities in order to minimize harm to society. To this end, the Gambling Regulatory Authority Act as well as the institutional framework will be strengthened. A new charter for budget responsibility will be brought forward to ensure that future governments spend taxpayers' money responsibly. A commission of inquiry on drug trafficking will be set up, and government shall pursue relentlessly fight against traffickers while ensuring that our seaport and airport are equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and technology to counter any attempt to introduce drugs in Mauritius. Government will come up with a modern legal framework modeled on the UK Police and Criminal Evidence Act to address the abusiveness and arbitrariness of the present system of provisional charges. Government firmly believes that in order to achieve results, the police force must attract and retain the best competencies. To promote transparency and meritocracy, an independent body will be set up to conduct examinations within the police. Degree holders will be encouraged to join the force and new incentives will be introduced to reward performance. Police stations will be equipped with CCTV and audio recording systems. Investigations will be conducted in a more professional manner with focus on scientific-led evidence rather than confession. Government intends to introduce electronic monitoring bracelets as an alternative to imprisonment for certain types of suspects who have been released on bail. Government will establish an independent police complaints commission presided by a former judge of the Supreme Court to ensure that fundamental human rights of citizens are respected. Police officers will be allowed to syndicate to safeguard their rights. A new independent court of appeal will be set up. In line with the Mackey Report of 1997, government will introduce legislation to set up a separate court of appeal section and a separate High Court section of the Supreme Court. A dedicated state-of-the-art court building for the Supreme Court and all its divisions will be built. Government will update the criminal code to provide for new criminal offences, including those related to Ponzi schemes, financial crime, as well as offences related to use of technology. A financial crime commission will be set up to act as an apex body to oversee the ICAC, the Financial Intelligence Unit, and the Enforcement Department with the Financial Services Commission. Government will eradicate fraud, corruption, malpractices, irregularities in all aspects of public life and restore our national values. To this end, a new Declaration of Assets Act for MPs and high-ranking public officers and the Financing of Political Parties Act will be enacted. A new code of conduct will be introduced for all MPs and public officers. The entire process of tendering, procurement, and contract allocation will be reviewed to increase competition, transparency, and accountability. The Prevention of Corruption Act will be amended to enable more effective tracking and curbing of money laundering and accumulation of wealth through backdoor mechanism. The Electoral Supervisory Commission will be given wider powers to control and sanction fraud, corruption, and conflict of interest during election time, and also to monitor political funding and abuse of position of power. Our electoral system will be reformed to introduce a dose of proportional representation in the National Assembly and guarantee better women representation. Government will expedite the development of high-speed connectivity through fiber to the home and 4G island-wide. The objective is to attain a broadband penetration of 60% by December 2015. The delivery of quality service online to citizens and businesses on a round-the-clock basis will be addressed. Government is committed to setting up the appropriate ecosystem and a comprehensive secure ICT infrastructure to protect Mauritius from internal and external cyber threats and attacks. New policies and strategies will be introduced to transform the ICT BPO landscape into high-value service sourcing by moving from the traditional BPO call center services to high-end value-added services such as knowledge outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing, and legal process outsourcing. Free broadband internet connectivity through Wi-Fi network will be made available in public places and in educational institutions. A special emphasis will be laid on connecting Mauritius with different parts of the world through the transformation of SSR International Airport into an efficient regional aviation hub and transforming the Port Louis Harbour into an international maritime hub. The airport will be enhanced and provided with necessary facilities to allow its development into a transit hub. An airport city will be developed which will house a wide range of aviation and commercial activities. A new port master plan will be undertaken with a view to tapping the huge potential that the ocean economy offers. A Freedom of Information Act will be brought forward to promote transparency and accountability in public administration and more particularly in contract allocations. Journalists and media reporters in the exercise of their functions will no longer be arrested or jailed unless there is strong prima facie evidence of a conspiracy against them. The data bank containing fingerprints and biometric photographs of the new national identity cards will be destroyed to protect sensitive personal data of our citizens. The Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation will be reorganized and made more efficient, service-oriented, and less dependent on government funding. Private television broadcasts will be permitted. Live public debates and telecasts on topical issues and matters relating to public interest will be encouraged. Government will introduce a 9-year basic continuous schooling, and the Certificate of Primary Education, CPE, will be replaced by an end of primary cycle assessment. Government will ensure that all pupils attending primary schools receive a free hot meal. Full subsidies on school certificate and higher school certificate examinations will be extended indiscriminately to all pupils irrespective of their social background. The MITD will be called upon to position itself as a regional training or trainers center for technical and vocational education and training in Southern and Eastern Africa, COMESA and the SADC countries. Government will introduce a Chambre de Métier bill to give due recognition to the various professions, including the registration of people in different trades, setting standards for training facilities and qualifications in each trade. The Tertiary Education Act will be reviewed and TEC strengthened as a regulator, with a view to providing higher learning opportunities for those in need of fostering greater equity in the system. Government will encourage access to tertiary education for students from low-income families and students with disabilities. Government will set up a special financial assistance scheme to help students from modest families to pursue tertiary education and thus contribute to their own economic and social advancement. Over the next 5 years, a significant number of jobs will be created in the public sector. In parallel, the private sector will be empowered through various fiscal measures to actively participate in government's unemployment alleviation mission. Some 15,000 jobs will thus be created annually. A considerable number of well-remunerated seasonal jobs will be created in the cruise, shipping and hospitality sectors. The duration of the state-subsidized youth employment program will be extended to 2 years. A new national employment agency will be created to find suitable job placements for the unemployed. Government will increase housing supply and home ownership for the economically and socially disadvantaged. The construction of some 10,000 social housing units during this present mandate has been planned. To protect financially distressed people, legislation will be enacted to prohibit, for a period of 2 years, the sale by levy of the only house of a worker who has been made redundant on economic grounds. In the same vein, the overall procedure of sale by levy will be reviewed to prevent collusion between financial institutions, legal advisors, and their agents. Government is fully committed to supporting the development of Rodrigues and other outer islands as an integral part of the Republic of Mauritius. Air and sea connectivity with Mauritius will be improved, as will public infrastructure, electricity and water supplies. Greater technical assistance will be provided in the fields of education, healthcare, agriculture and poverty alleviation. The support provided for the social and economic development of Rodrigues will be consolidated with the promotion of an enhanced business climate and boosting up development in the field of agriculture, more specifically organic farming, agriculture, as well as fisheries and artisanal products. Government will support the setting up of a Maison de Rodrigue in Mauritius with a view to better assisting and supporting our Rodriguan brothers and sisters to work and live here. The water problem in Rodrigues will be addressed with the construction of new reservoirs and planned exploitation of available resources. Government will bridge the digital communication gap between Mauritius and Rodrigues with the laying of the submarine optic fiber cable to link Mauritius and Rodrigues, thus enabling the emergence of a new ICT economic pillar in Rodrigues. Government is committed to addressing on a priority basis the long-standing problem of water supply in the country. Water resources will be mobilized and infrastructure, including pipes, renewed or replaced to reduce water loss and ensure year-round water supply. The Bagatelle Dam will be completed within a year and a new dam will be constructed at Rivière des Anguilles to improve water supply in the south region. The capacity of La Nicodière Reservoir will be increased to satisfy growing demand in the north. New technologically advanced water treatment plants will be constructed at La Nicodière, Bagatelle and Rivière des Anguilles. Government will consider new projects for construction of dams along rivers and further development of groundwater to mobilize additional water resources. The supply of electricity on a continuous basis is essential for the economy and the population at large. The power sector expansion plan will be updated to provide realistic projections for the next decade. Government will review the institutional framework of the power sector and operationalize the utility regulatory authority to ensure sound competitiveness in the energy sector and protect the interests of consumers. Government will launch a renewable energy program so as to encourage the production of energy from renewable sources. For the medium term, government will encourage development of generation mix of green energy and clean fossil fuel technology, taking into account the best interests of the country. A new state-of-the-art transport system will provide rapid access and connectivity throughout the country for the population and tourists, fuel economic activities, and promote social integration within the country. The existing system of speed cameras, traffic monitoring and sanctions will be replaced by a fairer and more socially equitable system. The light railway project initiated by the previous government will be shelved for the time being on economic grounds. With a view to alleviating traffic congestion along the main arteries of the country, a new road decongestion program will be put in place. A number of main roads, highways, flyovers, and secondary roads will be constructed.